Welcome to your free English lesson. This series will focus on the verb to have. There are 3 intended learning outcomes for this lesson. 1. We are learning to conjugate and use the verb to have as an auxiliary verb. 2. We are learning about the verb to have as an auxiliary verb that helps to form the future perfect tense in an action verb. 3. We are learning to apply the auxiliary verb to have when talking about actions completed before a future time. It is important to write when you are asked to. It helps you to learn. You can use a whiteboard, but ideally a notebook would be best. That way, you can keep a record of your learning. As an action verb, or acting as a main verb, the verb to have tells us what someone or something owns or possesses. In the simple future tense, we can conjugate the verb to have like this. Follow as I read. I will have. You will have. This is singular, one person. He will have. She will have. It will have. We will have. You will have. This is plural, more than one person. They will have. Look at the time now. What will you finish before tomorrow? Choose an action. Here is an example. In the future simple tense, I will finish my book. Is the book finished now? No. In the future perfect tense, by tomorrow I will have finished my book. Will the book be finished before tomorrow? Yes. Sometimes we need a tense to show that something will be completed before a future point. Now, what will you finish by tomorrow? Use these sentence stems. The future simple, I will finish. And the future perfect, by tomorrow I will have finished. Say the sentences out loud. As an auxiliary verb, the verb to have does not mean to own. It helps the main verb to talk about something that will be completed before a specific time in the future. The main verb, following the auxiliary verb to have, maintains the past participle verb form. The past participle is not the same as the past simple in many verbs. Here are some regular and irregular past participle verbs. Follow as I read. These are regular past participle verbs. Loved, played, watched, cleaned, studied, planned, stopped, liked, opened, helped. These are irregular past participle verbs. Been, broken, done, seen, spoken, taken, known, gone, eaten, drunk. This diagram shows what the future perfect tense looks like. Something will be completed by a specific time in the future. Not now, which is the present, and not the past, which is before, later. The action is not happening at the future point. It is already finished when that time arrives. We use the future perfect to say an action will be finished before a specific point in the future. For example, she will have left before the meeting starts. Now, she is still here. In the future, she will have left, but before the meeting starts later. We use the future perfect to explain a future situation by referring to an earlier completed future action. For example, he'll be tired because he will have worked all night. This timeline shows how, in the future, he will feel tired, the result, because he had worked all night, the cause. Both the cause and the result are in the future. We use the future perfect to express what we expect or assume will already be true at a future point. For example, you will have heard the news by now. This timeline shows that the speaker confidently looked ahead from a past earlier point of view and expected that the news was heard at this future point. By now is about a time that was in the future from an earlier point of view. We use the future perfect to show how long something will have continued up to a future time. For example, by next year, I will have lived here for 10 years. This timeline shows that from the past until the future point, by next year, the speaker will have lived in that place the ongoing duration of 10 years. We use the future perfect to sound polite or indirect, especially in questions. For example, will you have completed the report by Friday? This timeline shows the polite inquiry is made now and the action is expected to be completed by that point in the future, by Friday. The speaker is not demanding, just checking expectations. This lesson will look at the future perfect tense. The verb to have helps to form perfect tenses. It does not carry the main meaning of a sentence. It works together with the main verb to show what will be completed at a specific point in the future. If you can ask, completed by when? The future perfect is the right tense to use. The structure of a statement follows this form. Subject plus will plus the verb to have conjugated in the future perfect tense plus the past participle verb. The punctuation at the end of a sentence is a full stop for a statement and an exclamation mark for an exclamation. The structure of a question follows this form: will plus subject plus the verb to have conjugated in the future perfect tense plus the past participle verb. The punctuation at the end of a question is a question mark. We will briefly learn some helpful time words as an extender. These words help us anchor the action to a specific future time. They usually go in a particular place in a sentence. By shows the deadline. A deadline is the latest time or date when something must be finished or given. In a question, will plus subject plus have plus past participle plus by plus deadline. For example, will you have arrived by 8 p.m? In a statement, subject plus will plus have plus past participle plus by plus deadline. For example, I will have gone by May. By the time means one thing finishes before another future thing. In a question, will plus subject plus have plus past participle plus by the time plus event. For example, will he have left by the time I arrive? In a statement, subject plus will plus have plus past participle plus by the time plus event. For example, you will have finished by the time we leave. Before means an action finishes before a time or event. In a question, will plus subject plus have plus past participle plus before plus time or event. For example, will the sun have set before dinner? In a statement, subject plus will plus have plus past participle plus before plus time or event. For example, the rain will have cleared before the game. In means the action finishes after some time passes. In a question, will plus subject plus have plus past participle plus in plus time period. For example, will the bus have arrived in 10 minutes? In statement, subject plus will plus have plus past participle plus in plus time period. For example, the fog will have disappeared in the morning. Fill in the blanks with the correct future perfect form. 1. By 7 p.m. I finish my homework. 2. She arrive at the airport by the time we get there. 3. We eat dinner before the movie starts. 4. By next year, they learn to drive. 5. The fog clear before sunrise. 6. You complete the letter by Friday. 7. By tomorrow, he Write 3 songs. 8. They build the new bridge by next year. Pause the video. The next slide contains the answers. Check your answers. 1. By 7 p.m. I will have finished my homework. 2. She will have arrived at the airport by the time we get there. 3. We will have eaten dinner before the movie starts. 4. By next year, they will have learnt to drive. Both learnt with a T and learned with an ED are acceptable in spelling in the past participle. 5. The fog will have cleared before sunrise. 6. Will you have completed the letter by Friday? 7. By tomorrow he will have written 3 songs. 8. Will they have built the new bridge by next year? Here is an extender for anybody who would like a challenge. Fill in the correct time word by the time, before, in. 1. The train will have arrived 10 minutes. 2. He will have read the book a week. 3. You get here, we will have eaten dinner. 4. The end of the year, I will have graduated. 5. She will have left. The guests arrive. 6. Will you have cleaned your room? Dinner. Pause the video. The next slide contains the answers. Check your answers. 1. The train will have arrived in 10 minutes. 2. He will have read the book in a week. 3. By the time you get here, we will have eaten dinner. 4. By the end of the year, I will have graduated. 5. She will have left before the guests arrive. 6. Will you have cleaned your room before dinner? Thank you for joining into the lesson today. I hope you have confidently learned about conjugating and using the verb to have in the future perfect tense and the verb to have as an auxiliary verb that helps to show completion before a specific future time. Please like and subscribe for more lessons. There is a lot to learn, so don't give up. Keep believing in yourself and you will learn. See you next time. Bye.